You see, life has a rhythm to it. It follows laws whether we acknowledge them or not. One of those laws is simple, predictable, and completely unforgiving. Easy choices create hard lives, and hard choices create easy lives. Now most people don't plan for a hard life. Nobody wakes up at age 20 and says, "I hope at 50 I'm struggling." Nobody dreams about financial pressure, poor health, broken confidence, or constant stress. And yet, that is exactly where easy choices lead. Not immediately, that's the trick. The easy choice rarely hurts today. It whispers instead of shouts. The alarm goes off early in the morning. The easy choice says, "You deserve more sleep." The book sits on the table. The easy choice says, "You can read tomorrow." The opportunity appears, but it requires risk. The easy choice says, "Play it safe." One decision feels harmless. One delay seems insignificant, but life is not built in a day, it is built daily. Easy choices compound. Just like money in a bank account earns interest, your decisions earn consequences. A little neglect compounds into major limitation. A little procrastination compounds into missed opportunity. A little indiscipline compounds into a life that feels heavy, restricted, and frustrating. The problem with easy is that it feels justified. You can always find a reason. You worked hard yesterday. You're tired, the market is slow, the competition is strong, the weather isn't right, and because the excuse sounds reasonable, you accept it. But acceptance of small weakness eventually creates large weakness. Hard choices, on the other hand, often feel inconvenient. They require effort, they demand focus, they stretch you, getting up early when no one is watching. Studying when others are scrolling, saving money when others are spending, practicing when others are relaxing. These decisions aren't glamorous, they don't bring applause in the moment, but they plant seeds, and here is what you must understand. Life will always collect the bill. You can pay now, or you can pay later. If you pay now through discipline, learning, effort, and responsibility, life becomes easier later. If you avoid payment now through comfort and excuses, life becomes harder later. Consider your health. The easy choice is to skip the workout, to choose convenience over nourishment, to delay care. That may feel comfortable today. But over time, the body keeps score. Or consider finances. The easy choice is to spend more than you earn, to avoid budgeting, to ignore investing in yourself. That feels enjoyable now, but later it creates pressure and limitation. Easy does not stay easy, that's the illusion. Easy is simply deferred difficulty. It is comfort borrowed from tomorrow, and tomorrow always arrives. Now, I'm not suggesting that life must be miserable. I'm suggesting that growth requires deliberate discomfort. Discipline is simply doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. And feelings are powerful, but they are poor leaders. If you let your feelings make your decisions, you will almost always drift toward what is convenient instead of what is constructive. Drifting is easy. Growth is intentional. No one accidentally becomes successful. No one stumbles into strength of character. No one casually develops leadership, influence, or wealth. These things are earned through repeated, disciplined choices. And the remarkable part is this: the difference between an average life and an exceptional life is often a handful of daily decisions. Read or don't read, practice or don't practice, save or spend, blame or take responsibility. These small crossroads appear every day. And each time you choose the easy road, you reinforce a pattern. Each time you choose the disciplined road, you reinforce a different pattern. Eventually, the pattern becomes your lifestyle, and your lifestyle determines your future. What makes the hard choice powerful is not the pain. It is the promise. The hard workout promises strength. The hard study promises skill. The hard conversation promises clarity. The hard responsibility promises growth. You are trading temporary discomfort for permanent advantage. And here's something else. Self-respect grows when you choose discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you deposit confidence into your character. Every time you override the easy impulse, you strengthen your identity. Over time, you begin to see yourself differently. Not as someone who hopes, not as someone who wishes, but as someone who acts. That is where transformation begins. Most people are not defeated by giant failures. They are defeated by tiny compromises repeated daily. Refusing the easy life means becoming aware of those compromises. It means catching yourself in the moment of decision and asking, what will this choice cost me later? Because later always comes. If you want a life that feels strong, capable, and free, then you must accept short-term difficulty. You must welcome effort. You must understand that discipline is not your enemy. It is your architect. Easy choices create hard lives. Hard choices create easy lives. Choose wisely. Now let's talk about growth, because growth only comes through challenge. There is no exception to that rule. You cannot grow in comfort. You cannot expand in ease. You cannot discover your strength while everything is convenient. Think about the body for a moment. Muscles do not grow because you rest them. They grow because you resist something heavier than they are used to. The resistance causes stress, the stress causes adaptation, and the adaptation produces strength. Remove the resistance, and the muscle weakens. The same is true for your character, your finances, your leadership, your mindset. Challenge is not your enemy. Challenge is your trainer. Most people misunderstand difficulty. They interpret it as a sign to stop. They assume that when something feels hard, it must be wrong. But difficulty is often the signal that you are expanding. When you try something new, it feels awkward. When you stretch toward a bigger goal, it feels uncomfortable. When you accept more responsibility, it feels heavy. That heaviness is not punishment, it is development. The easy life keeps you small because it protects you from strain. It says, stay where you are, don't risk embarrassment, don't risk failure, don't risk rejection. And so you stay in familiar territory, but familiar territory rarely produces remarkable results. You cannot read the same books, talk to the same people, think the same thoughts, and expect a different future. Growth demands disruption. If you want to earn more, you must learn more. That means studying when it would be easier to relax. If you want to lead more, you must develop more. That means accepting criticism instead of avoiding it. If you want to build something meaningful, you must face obstacles instead of fleeing from them. The obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. Every significant breakthrough in your life will come wrapped in difficulty. The promotion requires preparation, the business requires risk, the transformation requires discipline. The confidence you admire in others was built through moments you did not see, moments of doubt, repetition, failure, and persistence. Failure, by the way, is one of the greatest teachers available to you, but only if you refuse to let it define you. Failure is feedback, it is instruction. It tells you where you need to improve, adjust, refine. The person who avoids challenge also avoids feedback. And the person who avoids feedback avoids growth. You cannot improve what you refuse to examine. Now here is something powerful. When you begin to welcome challenge, your mindset shifts. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this teaching me? That question alone changes your posture. It moves you from victim to student, and a student always grows. Pressure reveals you. When everything is easy, you don't really know what you are made of. But when the deadline is tight, when the competition is strong, when the stakes are high, that is when your habits surface. That is when your preparation shows. That is when your discipline either supports you or exposes you. If you consistently choose challenge, you build capacity. Capacity is the ability to handle more without breaking. And in life, opportunity usually comes disguised as responsibility. If you cannot handle small challenges, you will never be trusted with large ones. The marketplace rewards value, and value is developed through growth. You become more valuable by learning skills others avoid, by solving problems others complain about, by staying steady when others panic. None of that is developed in comfort. Comfort is seductive. It feels safe, but comfort slowly reduces your potential. It convinces you that average is acceptable. It persuades you that stretching is unnecessary. And before you know it, years have passed without meaningful expansion. I am asking you to interrupt that pattern, lean into the difficulty, volunteer for responsibility, raise your standards. Attempt what intimidates you, have the conversation you've been avoiding, start the project you've been postponing. Not because it is easy, but because it will enlarge you. You do not grow by accident, you grow by decision. And every challenge you conquer builds a layer of confidence. Not loud confidence, not arrogance, but quiet certainty. The kind that says, I've handled difficulty before, I can handle it again. That certainty becomes your foundation. It steadies you when circumstances shake. The truth is, the easy road offers comfort today, but limits tomorrow. The challenging road demands effort today, but expands tomorrow. One shrinks your world, the other enlarges it. If you truly want more income, more impact, more fulfillment, then you must be willing to face more challenge. Growth and comfort do not coexist. You must choose which one you want more. Welcome the uphill climb. That's where strength is built. Now let me share something that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, and it may not sound exciting at first. It is personal responsibility, not partial responsibility, not convenient responsibility, full responsibility. The easy life says, it's not my fault. The successful life says, it's my responsibility. That small shift in language changes everything. When something goes wrong, the easy response is to look outward, blame the economy, blame the boss, blame your parents, blame the government, blame your past, and let me tell you, you will never run out of things to blame. There will always be circumstances, there will always be unfairness, there will always be obstacles. But blame is powerless. The moment you blame, you surrender control. You hand over your future to whatever you're pointing at. And as long as your progress depends on someone else changing, you remain stuck. Responsibility, on the other hand, is power. When you say, this is on me, you reclaim control. You may not have caused every problem, but you are responsible for your response. You may not control the wind, but you control the sail, and that is enough. Personal responsibility is not about guilt. It is about ownership, ownership of your attitude, ownership of your effort, ownership of your preparation, ownership of your results. If your income is not where you want it to be, take responsibility, not to criticize yourself, but to improve yourself. Ask, what skills do I need to develop? What value must I increase? What habits must I adjust? That question leads to growth. If your health is declining, take responsibility. Instead of complaining about genetics or schedules, ask, what can I change starting today? That question leads to action. If your relationships are strained, take responsibility. Instead of rehearsing what others did wrong, ask, how can I communicate better? How can I listen more? How can I improve? You see, responsibility is creative. Blame is destructive. The easy life seeks comfort in excuses. The disciplined life seeks progress through ownership. And here is the remarkable truth. The moment you accept responsibility, you also unlock possibility. Because if it's your responsibility, it's also within your influence. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for better conditions. They wait for someone to recognize them. They wait for luck. but waiting is a passive posture. Responsibility is active. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting and start working. You stop wishing and start building. You stop complaining and start correcting. And yes, it's harder. It is much easier to say, that's just the way things are. It is much easier to settle into mediocrity and call it fate. But the price of that ease is limitation. The price is unrealized potential. Responsibility demands that you look in the mirror and ask difficult questions. Are you as disciplined as you could be? Are you as focused as you should be? Are you managing your time wisely? Are you developing yourself daily? Those questions are uncomfortable, but discomfort is often the doorway to transformation. Here's what happens when you consistently take responsibility. You build credibility with yourself. Every time something goes wrong and you respond with ownership instead of excuses, you strengthen your character. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to see that you are capable of change, and self-trust is priceless. When you trust yourself, you stop fearing setbacks because you know that whatever happens, you will respond constructively. You know you will adjust. You know you will learn. You know you will try again. Responsibility also earns respect from others. Leaders are not those who avoid fault. Leaders are those who accept it and improve. In business, in family, in community, the person who says, "I'll take care of it," becomes valuable. The person who says, "It's not my job," remains replaceable. If you want to grow, if you want influence, if you want freedom, you must increase your level of responsibility. Because income rarely exceeds personal development, and personal development begins with ownership. The easy life avoids responsibility because it feels heavy, but responsibility is not weight that crushes you, it is weight that strengthens you. Just like resistance builds muscle, responsibility builds capacity. You become stronger when you carry more. And as your capacity grows, so do your opportunities. More trust, more leadership, more reward, more freedom. But it all begins with that simple decision. No more excuses. Refuse to blame. Refuse to complain. Refuse to wait. Stand up and say, "From this day forward, I am responsible." That decision will change the direction of your life. Now, let's talk about something everyone wants, but few are willing to earn: confidence and freedom. Not borrowed confidence, not loud confidence, real confidence, the kind that is steady, quiet, and unshakable. And let me tell you where it comes from. It does not come from comfort. It comes from conquest. Every time you do something difficult, you send a message to yourself. You say, "I can handle this," and the mind listens, the spirit listens, your identity begins to shift. You are no longer someone who avoids challenge. You are someone who faces it. That is how confidence is built. It is not built by positive thinking alone. It is built by positive action repeated consistently. When you wake up early and keep your word to yourself, confidence grows. When you finish what you start, confidence grows. When you push through fatigue, distraction, and doubt, confidence grows. And here is the powerful part. No one can give this to you. It cannot be gifted. It cannot be inherited. It must be earned through discipline. The easy life feels safe, but it quietly erodes confidence. When you repeatedly choose comfort over commitment, a small voice inside begins to question you. It says, "Can you really rely on yourself?" And over time, that doubt becomes heavier than any challenge ever could. But when you choose the hard path, when you refuse to quit, when you follow through, when you stretch beyond what feels convenient, you build evidence. Evidence that you are capable, evidence that you are disciplined, evidence that you are growing. Confidence is built on evidence. Now let's connect that to freedom. Everyone talks about freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, emotional freedom. But freedom is not an accident. It is the reward for disciplined living. Financial freedom comes from managing what you earn. investing in your skills, controlling your spending, increasing your value. None of that is easy. It requires restraint, it requires patience, it requires long-term thinking in a short-term world. Physical freedom comes from caring for your body consistently, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but daily, because strength gives you options, energy gives you options, health gives you options. Emotional freedom comes from mastering your responses, not allowing anger, fear, or comparison to control your decisions. That mastery is not natural, it is developed. It is forged in moments when you want to react but choose to respond. The easy life offers temporary pleasure but long-term limitation. The disciplined life offers temporary discomfort but long-term options, and options are power. When you are strong financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you are no longer controlled by circumstances. You are not desperate. You are not reactive. You are prepared, and preparation reduces fear. Many people live trapped not because they lack potential, but because they avoided discipline when it mattered. They chose easy spending over saving, easy distraction over learning, easy silence over courageous conversation. And years later, they find themselves limited. Refusing the easy life is not about punishment, it is about positioning. You are positioning yourself for a future that is flexible, strong, and secure, and there is something deeply satisfying about earning your freedom, about knowing that the life you live is the result of deliberate effort, that your strength was built, not stumbled upon, that your confidence was forged, not faked. The hard path shapes you, it sharpens your judgment, it strengthens your will, it expands your capacity, and when life inevitably becomes difficult, because it will, you are not overwhelmed. You are equipped, that is the difference. Comfort makes you fragile, discipline makes you durable, and durability is what creates long-term success. Anyone can perform well when conditions are perfect, but the person who has trained through difficulty performs even when conditions are imperfect. That is true confidence. It is not loud, it does not boast, it simply stands firm. When you consistently choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you create momentum. That momentum builds habits, those habits build character, and that character builds a life that feels solid and self-directed. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, decide differently, not because life is easier, but because you are stronger. And strength creates freedom, so when you are faced with the choice, and you will be every single day, remember what is at stake. Not just today's comfort, but tomorrow's capability. Not just today's relief, but tomorrow's independence. Confidence is earned in the moments no one sees. Freedom is built in the choices no one applauds. Refuse the easy life, and earn the life that sets you free.